Yep.
Well, Rob, first and foremost, a new welcome addition to the squad for next season, Julian Salvi. How much are you excited by his arrival?
Yeah, obviously, we're delighted to have signed him. People are aware that it was a bit of a strange thing at the time that Julian kind of suddenly became available relatively late in the what you call the season for looking to be signing players at a time when we were actively out looking at back five options, and obviously the two things have lined up very well. I mean, obviously it's for Julian to discuss. Why he became available from Leicester is not for me to talk about, but obviously we're very pleased that we've been able to take advantage of the situation and bring him to Exeter Chiefs, because I think when people look at how he's playing at the moment, look at the qualities he brings and look at the kind of character he is, I think he'll be a guy who fits in very well here, and I think he'll be a guy who certainly adds to the quality we have here as a squad and add to various facets of our game.
I was going to say, anyone who's watched his game over the 4 or 5 years, will know he's a proven operator at this level and one of the best in the business. Yeah,
and I think the most interesting thing for me was that I think everyone's aware of his defensive qualities, and that's very much how he gets spoken about. But I think if anything, when we really start to look at his games in detail, the thing that pleased us the most was what he does when Leicester have the ball. He's very important for them to keep the fluidity of possession. He's very destructive at an attacking breakdown as well. And he links the game together for Leicester probably better than people really realise. And that was really important for us, and that almost made it a no-brainer once we actually looked at his game in detail. Obviously, everyone wants a good defensive open side, but for us it's very important they have good attacking qualities and qualities we can work with and develop as well. And we saw a lot of those with Julian, and like I say, that aligned with the character he has and the fact he looks very comfortable being his own man, and will bring a wealth of experience to some of our younger players in the back row. I think there was a lot of very positive reasons for signing him.
And looking at him, what he brings is something special, but the competition he's going to bring now and bring the best out of the rest of the back row, as you say, is going to be pretty special as well.
Well, that's the idea. We feel we're putting together a really strong back five, and I think that's going to be very important when you look at the season next year when it all kicks off. We go 25 weekends on the bounce that are either Premiership games or Champions Cup games now that we've qualified. Well, you're going to need a lot of good players to make inroads in those competitions, but you're also going to need cover for injuries, and you're also going to need to have good competition in training. So we're starting to feel like we're getting some real strength in depth in certain positions. This is one of those signings that really shows that. Our other signings will do the same, and it's just that we're maturing nicely with our younger players, and we've also had to take this opportunity to sign a more mature player, probably with a bit more experience, just to make sure that we keep the balance in the squad at the correct level for us to win as many games as possible.
Talking to him, it's encouraging, I imagine, from your perspective, that the Chiefs are seen in such a light now, that you're attracting such good players. They've seen what's happened down here in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I think the truth is, we've slowly been able to sign different type of players at the same time as our own players have developed very well, and I think it's the two that have combined. I think people are seeing our own young players develop into international quality players, and as you say, once you attract 1 or 2 players, particularly say someone like Tom Waldron, and then people see them come here and not only choose to come here but also then play very well and enjoy their rugby and almost get refreshed and find a new lease of life. That obviously is something that other players see and becomes attractive to them as well. And there's lots of parts of the jigsaw that make it happen. Obviously, it was great to sign Jeff Parling as well, but it's also great when we sign guys like Harry Williams out of the Championship. It's great when we sign guys like Will Hooley, whose opportunities are starting to get limited at Northampton. The balance of how you put a squad together is very important, and how they all come here and fight for opportunities and decide to play for each other as a team. Getting that mix and that balance and all the ingredients together is very important to us.
And how do you feel now about the makeup of next year? Is there still room for more to come in potentially?
There is a little bit of room in 1 or 2 positions, but we're, like I kind of say every year, we're not going to rush into it. And I actually think because we don't rush into it, we actually end up with better players than if we'd have just said, oh, we've got to pile in and sign another winger, or we've got to sign another scrum out, or whatever. Because I think the example with Julian is a perfect one. If we'd have gone scrambling around looking for another back row forward, we wouldn't have ended up with someone of the quality of Julian Salvi. So I'm very patient about things. I'd rather work very hard and miss out on a lot of players than sign the wrong ones. We spent a lot of time working at guys who haven't come here. I don't mind admitting that, but I would have been very comfortable in coming. They're not necessarily coming here, but anyone who does come will have spent the same amount of work on and we'll be very happy with.